Welcome to Fewer Things Better. This is the place for all of us who are big on goals and short on time. Together, we'll explore smart, simple ideas on how to retrain your brain and unlock your life. I'm your host, Kristin Graham. Let's get started. Most days, we seem to be in a battle with time. It's either slipping away or it's going too slow. But then there are the magical moments when we are happily lost in a place and a space where time simply seems to move aside. We become so immersed in an activity, people, or sensations around us that we are fully in flow. In neuropsychology terms, flow is known as the complete absorption in what one is doing so that it transforms our sense of time. Said in a more everyday term, it's when we get lost in our work or in an experience. Some might call it being in the zone, or even, as my son likes to say, being locked in. It's enough to transport us to a state of hyper-focus without having us feel overwhelmed. And much like any skill, finding your zone comes more from practice versus coming on command. The bottom line on top of this episode is that being in a zone is often within reach. You just may need to clear a few things from view to see the path to it. While flow and focus are individual states, this episode offers a few tips that may help you find and enjoy the time in flow. Tip number 1, make mental space. Key experts on flow all recommend minimizing technology and social media scrolling because they are highly distracting and send your brain in multiple directions instead of into one. Space takes time for your brain to register. Some say up to 90 minutes. So if you're willing to set aside the screen, your brain may find its way to flow faster. Tip number 2, start with something fun. Choose an activity that you already find rewarding and one in which you often become immersed, because fun is often a shortcut to flow itself. Episode 143 explored the topic of passions and hobbies, and that is a great place to start to peek at where you find fun frequently. Once or twice a week, go on a mental recess when you can participate undistracted in your fun. Doing so trains your brain towards intrinsic enjoyment and increases your chance of zooming in on the zone. Tip number 3, mix in music. A common component of flow is music. Research into the psychology of music, and yes, that's actually a thing, explores how the flow state can arise when one is listening to music. Now, what kickstarts your brain, again, will be individual, but you'll feel that lift when the right mix kicks in. So whether it's heavy metal for you or classical, tune in to your tunes. Even if you don't get in the zone, music therapy is known to reduce anxiety and the physical effects of stress. And for an extra ramp, psychologists suggest doing movement with music. So whether that's a workout or a walk, the combination of the two is a brain-body boost. The last tip, number 4, is why when matters. Some of us are morning people and others are night owls. Some are at our best after a quick nap. Pick a time when focus feels more available or natural. For more on this, much more on this, check out episode 4 for a guide to chronobiology. To recap, the 4 tips for finding the highway to your personal zone are to make mental space from tech, to start with fun, to mix in music, and to find the right time of day. Now, let's go on to one other concept related to zones. There's a great book published in 2009 called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. In it, he outlines the concepts of zone of genius and zone of excellence. According to Hendricks, the zone of genius is that sweet spot where your natural talents and passions intersect, while the zone of excellence represents an area that might not be as fulfilling personally, but where you have developed a high level of skill. For example, after years of being a public speaker, I'm pretty good at doing PowerPoint slides. That proficiency isn't my passion by any stretch, but it's something I can do with high skill and I can do it quickly. Put me on stage, however, and I rarely even look at the slides. If I'm talking on a subject for which I am passionate, that puts me in a zone right away. Now, back to the book. Zone of genius is considered to be the most optimal state of performance and fulfillment, compared to a zone of excellence, which can sometimes feel like being stuck in a comfortable routine. Zone of genius can also be where you excel at something naturally, or where you look forward to the work or the practice of it, and where your skill or results might be evident to others. Time spent here in this zone feels fulfilling, energizing, and fun. Zone of excellence, by comparison, is where you perform, again, at a very high level, but might not find as much intrinsic satisfaction. Usually in this space, we might look to grades or titles or paychecks to show us the results of the effort. To explore the difference, try asking yourself, what am I good at that also gives me energy and deep joy? Deep joy. Doesn't that sound lovely? Some days I'll settle for a little flow that is slightly satisfying. But the point of this episode is to make space to think through the fun of flow in your everydays, and perhaps even more effort to define your zones of genius and excellence. One final nerdy note, flow is also important for healthy aging. Research has found that older adults experience flow when their cognitive capacity is challenged just enough to engage them fully while not making them stressed or anxious. However and wherever you find some flow, time spent in search of it is already a reward. And as a gentle reminder, the one zone where there is little return is the comfort zone. You deserve deep joy. Let's go find it. Thanks for listening. You can find a lot more like this by following me on LinkedIn or going to unlockthebrain.com and joining the mailing list. And if you found value in this podcast, please take a moment to rate or comment. Thanks so much. And now let's go do fewer things better.